Are tuned into the South African morning. Let's take a look at some tennis news now. Kgothatso Montjane suffered defeat in the French Open singles opening round following a 2-set defeat to Japanese Momoko Ohtani. The South African wheelchair tennis ace showed some fighting spirit and looked poised to earn a win over the 10th ranked Ohtani, but it was not to be. Montjane joins us now live via Zoom to chat about last night's match. Good morning to you, Kgothatso. It's good to speak to you again. I know that it's a slightly more disappointing conversation than what we had hoped. What do you think went wrong in that first round match?
I have to admit that, it's a lot of factors involved. Lack of, match competition. Yeah, also the transition from, hard to clay. So I think I felt it more in a match than I had felt it in practice. I realized that I was struggling to move quite good on clay, but I just thought maybe in a match situation, because you can always manipulate the situation, but it was just clear that it wasn't good at all. So I had one to solo, but it really has nothing to do with my technical game or anything. Those are just things that I really felt that could have contributed to that, because I've seen on that first set when I was 5-2 down trying to come back, it really showed that I can still compete, but I still struggled and I wasn't too comfortable with how I was moving. So that was really more disappointing for me.
Yeah, you did mention it was a lot of factors. I mean, you hadn't played in about 7 months, and there is the topic that we spoke about on Monday when we had a little chat. The transition from hard court to clay, we expected it to be tough, but just how tough was it, if you could just describe it for us?
Yeah, it was really tough because moving side to side. I mean, it's quite difficult for me. The turn. Sometimes when I was trying to turn while I was moving, the chair would just slide. Which on the practice court it wasn't like that. So things like that were quite frustrating. That I can't get my flowing usual movement that I would on a hard court on clay, and stuff like that were really, really frustrating for me. And I found myself being even more slower going forward, because when the ball bounces, as it slows down, you would think you'll have more time to get to it, but it was just a different story. So the transition was really, really hard for me. I thought I would have adapted in the 3 days that I've been here, but it's quite challenging for me, to be honest.
It is challenging, it is a disappointment, but not all is lost. You've still got your doubles campaign that gets underway on Friday. Are there any things that you're looking to change there, and how are you expecting that to go?
I mean, I would just take this doubles match as another, match practice for me, because, at the end of the day, I wanted to get out here and get back to my competitive mode. I wanted to challenge my mind in terms of competition. And one thing that I'm happy about is that, like I said, my technical side of tennis, it's still looking good. So I'm still confident that I can actually still hit the ball properly. So for me, going into doubles is just try to be more free and see how I can maneuver around the court, because, being a big mover is one of my biggest assets in tennis. So, just get out there, keep that chair moving, and hopefully if you can get moving, I could be even more free to execute.
Talk to me about the conditions out in Paris. What was your experience of them in that first match? I mean, you've been there for a couple of days. You did do some prep. And also with COVID-19 regulations that are also involved, what has the whole experience been like so far?
Yeah, it's been one hell of a experience, having to do more COVID tests now and then. The only places you can go to, you're between the hotel and the courts. And one day it's rainy, one day it's windy, one day it's cold. Yesterday, the sun came out. It's just more confusing. But those are the things you can't really, control. But, just try to roll with, to be honest. So it's been hectic, and like I said, it's all in the mind, So it really shows me how much I need to really get my mind back into this thing, because if I can't really adjust that so quickly, it really shows that there's a lot to do or to work on with the mind.
Yeah, the mind is quite important. Just very lastly and quickly, Kgothatso, you mentioned that you've got to focus on the positives, and that's exactly what I want us to do. How are you feeling physically after having not played competitively for 7 months? How are you feeling physically, and just some of the positives that you're going to be taking into Friday?
Like, to be honest, one of the practices that day was really cold, so I was trying to do too much. I was trying so hard, and I end up picking some pain on my forearm. So I'm struggling with that, but not to think too much about it. Like I said, in yesterday's match, I couldn't even think about it, and yeah. So that's the challenge that I'm having at the moment, to make sure that I see physio quite often, to manage that, so I don't create a bigger thing on it. But other than that, like I said, for me, the most important thing going into Friday's match is to make sure that I get myself moving and just to get myself back to competing, because like I said, it's all in the mind. Yes, I had displayed lack of, match practices or competition practices, so it's just for me to get back out there and push myself and see how it goes.
All right, Kgothatso, we are rooting for you, and good luck for Friday. That was Kgothatso Montjane joining us live via Zoom from Paris at the French Open.